Question. How long does it take you to tell somebody that you are in love with them? And has anyone ever told you that they're in love with you? Have you even told somebody that you're in love with them? It seems like that phrase can be taboo in a lot of circles. So let's just start there. We all want to feel like we're in love or that somebody's in love with us. But let's face it, people don't always come out with the truth. But it's hard to keep going in a relationship, especially if you're fearful avoidant, without some sort of knowing or guarantee. But also, there are some fearful avoidants who might run if you tell them that you're in love with them, and they might struggle to tell you that they're in love with you. So that's why I really want to explore this, because it's important to some of us that we know if somebody is falling in love with us, because that gives us information on how we should proceed, even though you shouldn't even have to think that way in love. But these days, it's just so crazy. So navigating love can often feel turbulent for those who find themselves entangled with a fearful avoidant partner. Understanding their feelings can be particularly tricky. They may oscillate between intense affection and an overwhelming urge to withdraw, leaving you to wonder, is this person actually in love with me, or are they just really good at playing emotional hide and seek? More than likely, if you want to know if somebody's in love with you, it's because you're developing really strong feelings for someone else, for that person, for that particular person. Otherwise, you wouldn't care if they were falling in love with you. I mean, there are people who develop crushes on you, but if you're not interested in them, then it's kind of like, nicely, so what, who cares? So I think the reason why this could be tricky is, number one, how are the two of you connected? Is it somebody that you work with? Is it somebody that you met on a dating site? Because if you're on a dating site, then that's the clearest indicator that the two of you are dating and you're interested in each other. But that doesn't always mean that the person is as into you as you want them to be. So I know that could be a little tricky. Did somebody fix the two of you up together? Are you guys just friends, male and female friends, and one of you likes the other one, but you are under the guise of friendship because you're always taking turns being with someone else? And so in order to always be together, you are functioning under the heading of friendship. And that can be tricky because I've heard of people actually getting married to somebody else and then finding out that the person they were friends with was actually madly in love with them, and vice versa, and they never said it. So in that case, don't you think it would be worth the risk to let somebody know how you feel so that something like that doesn't happen to you? But then if you let somebody know how you feel about them, then things can be awkward if they don't feel the same way, or it may make somebody run from you, or they may be developing their feelings slower, but since you said that, it freaked them out. You see how this love thing can be so tricky, but I just want to keep it real. So before I go into circles, let's just take a very straightforward approach and talk about how you know that a fearful avoidant is actually in love with you. Number one, clear sign, they show affection. They may not show affection all the time, but they at least show it sometimes. So you might receive a flood of affectionate texts only for them to go silent for days. And see, that's where the confusion comes in. So it's like they're running a marathon of love, but they keep stopping for snack breaks, emotional snack breaks. They might care, but their fear of intimacy makes them hit the brakes just when you think you're getting somewhere. So when they're showering you with love, enjoy it. Just don't be surprised when they play hide and seek right afterwards. I know it's super frustrating. Not all fearful avoidance function with that much up and down. However, just keep it to, are they affectionate with you? If the answer is yes, that could be a clue that they're falling in love with you. Number two, they struggle with vulnerability. I remember the first guy that I fell madly in love with. I remember he would talk about that all the time, about being vulnerable. And I was quite a bit younger than him. And so I would try to pretend like I understood things that I didn't. And at the time, I had no idea what vulnerability meant. But today, vulnerability for me means that you kind of take a risk. Not kind of, but you open yourself up to the possibility of being hurt. You open yourself up to taking some risk for love because it's that important. It also means that it's scary, but you do it anyway. You push through even though this person could really hurt you. So somebody who's fearful avoidant, of course, they're going to struggle with vulnerability. So vulnerability, what's that? For a fearful avoidant, opening up can feel as daunting as asking a cat for a high five. They want to connect, but the thought of being emotionally naked sends them running for the hills, preferably with a cozy blanket and a Netflix binge. If they're inching towards vulnerability, give them a gold star, but don't expect them to start sharing their deepest fears anytime soon. And why would a fearful avoidant not want to share with you their deepest fears? It's because it's hard to talk about. When they talk about their deepest fears to somebody, it feels scary, it feels bad, it feels like you might leave me if I am human, if I tell you how I feel. However, I will say, if you want to deepen a relationship with someone, it is important to share some of your deepest fears. That actually brings them closer to you. So if the goal is to bring them closer to you, then go ahead and share your deepest fears. Remember, you got to take risk. Doing the opposite of that is going to push them further away because they're not going to get to know you on a deeper level, which makes them feel quite special. They create distance. What does distance mean? For fearful avoidant, one of their things that they do is distance. They push away. And they push away because they are afraid. And also because their other side is to come closer to you. At a certain point, they can it could be like filling up a pitcher of water. If you keep filling it up, eventually it starts to spill over. And what do you do when it starts to spill over? You stop. You might need to pour some out or drink some of it before you can take more in. And so sometimes they can be in that filled up phase and they need some time to let their emotions settle some. Take in what you said. Do some thinking, some retreating, some reflecting, some self-reflecting. It helps them to build up their confidence again and figure out, okay, what direction do we want to go in now? It also lets that fear subside and quiet instead of being on overdrive. So if you've ever felt the sting of their sudden withdrawal, congratulations, you've unlocked the fearful avoidant withdrawal achievement. When things get too close for comfort, they might create distance faster than a magician can pull a rabbit out of a hat. But don't let that fool you. Their heart may still be invested, even if their feet are trying to make a hasty exit. So number 4, they want to be loved, but fear rejection. There's that push-pull thing again that they are notorious for. So they do want to feel loved. They crave it. They need it. They want it. But they are afraid of you rejecting them. So it's kind of like if you have a dog and he's walking forwards and then he gets smacked and that keeps happening. He's walking forward and then he gets smacked, eventually he's going to stop going forward. I remember meeting someone who had a dog and they were going to let me pet their dog, but the dog was terrified of leaving the house. And that's probably because the dog had probably been pinched. I mean, I hate to say it, or threatened, or yanked, or yelled at, or screamed at for leaving the house. So even though she was giving the dog permission to let me pet him because I was outside our house, the dog was shaking and could barely take a step, but he was wagging his tail because he really wanted to. And that's kind of how I think it is for them. It's like, I want to be loved, I want to be petted, but rejection is a big deal for them. It's kind of akin to that fear of abandonment that they feel. So the irony of a fearful avoidant is that they crave love, yet fear it like a cat fears water. They want to be swept off their feet, but are terrified of the fall. You might catch glimpses of their affection, but they often hide behind a wall of self-doubt. If you're willing to be patient and persistent, you might just see them peel away those layers like an emotionally complicated onion. Number 5, they'll test your commitment. What does it mean to be committed to somebody? It means that you're all in, that they can trust you to be there for them, with them, that you're not going to bounce, that this is our thing. Like, we have decided that this is us and this is what we're doing, and we want to be in a relationship with you. So fearful avoidance can be very testy. They're not always that way. A great way to not get them to test you is to be consistent and persistent and steady. And they may test you until they understand that you're going to be consistent and persistent no matter what. So beware. When a fearful avoidant is in love, they might put you through a series of tests that feel more like an obstacle course than a relationship. They want to know if you'll stick around during their emotional flip-flops. So if they throw a curveball your way, consider it a compliment. Unless, of course, it's a flaming one. So yeah, that is part of the problem. Is if you are committed, that means you're all in and they don't have to worry about you leaving them, which is the core fear. So, is your fearful avoidant partner in love with you? The answer may be as clear as mud, but one thing's for sure. Their love is real, even if it comes with a side of confusion. By understanding their quirks and fears, you can navigate this complex terrain with a bit of humor and a lot of patience. In the end, if you're up for the challenge of deciphering the delightful enigma that is a fearful avoidant, you might just find a heart that's worth the effort, or at the very least, you'll gain some excellent stories for your future therapy sessions. So happy navigating. So if you struggle with love, then check out my book, Flip the Script on Love, because I'm fearful avoidant, at least in my romantic relationships. I really think I am. And so that book really helped me to do some healing, and I'm sure it will help you as well. And stay away from narcissists. If you are encountering one, you could be confused for a reason. So check out my book, The Workplace NaRCISSiST. And if you know Myers-Briggs personality types, it will give you a better handle on people's personalities and what makes them tick. So check those books out. That one is called From ENFJ with Love. And I'll put all the books in the description box. So that way, if you want to get one on Amazon, I think you'll really enjoy it. So I love you guys. And I just want you to know I am so thankful for you rocking with me on this channel. It just makes exploring things so much more fun to do it with you guys. So let me know in the comments what videos you want me to make, share your stories, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.